On our last trip abroad to the amazing city of Copenhagen, we were lucky enough to sit down with one of our best friends, Tim Jones, who works as an air traffic controller at Manchester Airport. Prior to the trip, we asked you wonderful people if you had any questions for him. So here we go. Enjoy.
So how long does it take you to become an air traffic controller?
So for me, I started my training in March 2016 and I validated as a controller at Manchester in January 2018, so just under 2 years, and that was 2 ratings, so both a tower rating and an approach rating, and that was then how long it took me to validate my tower rating only. So yeah, just under 2 years really from going in through the front door to then being qualified.
So what age does an air traffic controller retire?
So the air traffic controllers can retire as early as 57. So the aim is that you can go on as long as you want to, as long as you've got a medical, until, well, yeah, as long as you like really, but most tend to sort of go around 57.
So do you have any pets?
I don't. I have a 2-year-old daughter, which is probably more hard work than a pet. Thought about getting a dog, but yeah, with a child at the same time, it's a little bit more effort than I'd quite like to do at the moment. My mum has 2 cats though, even though she said she'd never have any more. But
Cats are great though.
Simon's a cat man.
He is. So what's your favourite plane and livery?
Probably the A350 in the Virgin livery, I'd have to say.
And what about a special livery?
Ooh, I was a big fan of the British Airways 319 Retro, which I was lucky enough to actually fly on last year,
Very
much
nice.
to a few people's jealousy.
Right, so in Die Hard 2, a film I have never seen.
Likewise.
This is a great question. There is apparently a scene in a church where they set up an ATC. Is it anything like that in real life?
Absolutely not in commercial aviation. The sort of requirements for air traffic control are very strict. That wouldn't be allowed. However, the military do things where they go out to sort of places abroad and set up temporary air traffic control, but no, not for commercial
I have a
aviation.
follow-up question.
Go on.
On the EE advert here in the UK,
Yeah.
well, not here in the UK, back home in the UK, might have said it that bit, they set up air traffic control in someone's living room. What is your opinion on that, given EE's terrible network coverage?
Yes, I've got 5G today at the cost of £2.29, but yeah, not really as realistic as they make it out to be. It's not something that you'd ever be able to actually achieve in this country. I'd love to do my job from my
Work from
my
home.
bedroom, but unfortunately, no, sadly not.
Alas.
Yeah.
Oh. How many women work in air traffic control at Manchester?
So at Manchester we have 6. 2 of our 5 watch managers are women, and yeah, 4 other controllers are women. Still underrepresented amount in the industry as a whole, which is something that we're trying to push. That, you know, we do want to get more women involved in air traffic. It is sort of open to everyone, but at the same time, it's more about the kind of person you are. So if the women are able to do it, we really love them to get involved and have more women in the industry.
Okay, so one of our awesome members, Joe, used to work in radar over in the States.
Wow.
Teaches it. Are you trained on radar as well?
I am, yeah. My second validation at Manchester was radar. So at Manchester we are what's called a dual valid unit. Everyone who comes to Manchester is expected to validate in the tower and in radar. So you'll validate one first and then you'll do a bit of time consolidating in that before you'll be trained in your second discipline.
Awesome.
With so many outtakes, we needed a Mackies.
So do you have software to help you predict where planes will be, or is it just down to skill?
Most of it's just down to skill. We have a few tools on the radar, so we have like things that will show us, which will predict where the plane's going to be in the next minute or 2 minutes, and we have a system that gives us a rough time of when they expect the holds, but the rest of it, the actual vectoring from the holding stacks onto final approach, is all done through judgment and skill, and that's why it takes years to train to do it.
So what's your favourite drink?
On my days off, it's definitely a white wine or something a little bit fizzy, yeah, otherwise a nice cold Coca-Cola. Oh, can't beat that.
Oh. And so how many stairs are in the tower?
I think it's around 330 from the ground floor to the top. It's 17 sets of stairs inside the main stairwell, and then once you get up to the top, it's 2 more sets of stairs to get to the very top of the VCR, and there's about 19 sets of stairs in each one. Desperately tried to get the answer in.
And do you have toilets at the top?
We do have some rest facilities at the very top of the tower. They don't get used that often because we spend most of our breaks on the ground floor in the bit that you can see. It's sort of like the triangular shaped building at the bottom. We spend most of our time down there, but we do, if we need them, have toilets at the top.
So how do you know when you need to switch runways?
So the runway direction, so 23 or 05, is decided by the wind. And in terms of 23 right, 23 left, or 05 right, 05 left, is done on set times given to us by the airport.
So how many people are in the tower at any one time? And do you get more there if it's a busy period of the day, say first thing in the morning, or when the weather's bad?
So we have one controller per position, so we always have somebody working ground and we always have someone working runway 1. When we open runway 2, that's another controller. When we open clearance delivery, that's another controller, so that's 4. We then will have an assistant, and then we'll have a watch manager as well, so that's 6 operational positions effectively in the tower. And then downstairs in radar, we've got approach and final director, again another position that only gets open when it's busier. So yeah, when it is busy, we have more people in positions, yeah.
So why is there a bump on the runway?
When you build a runway, you kind of have to work with the land you've got, and it costs a lot of money to make a little bump into a very flat piece of land. So it's a lot easier to just build a runway there and work with it. The pilots don't like it that much, I've heard. Apparently it's worse on some ends, but it is what it is.
Did you ever consider becoming a pilot?
No, I like my job. It's very different. Not a lot of people do what I do, and I like knowing when my shift starts, when my shift ends, and that I can go home at the end of the day.
We hope you enjoyed that Q&A session with Tim and the odd cyclist thrown in for free. But Liz and I just want to say thank you, Tim, for taking the time to sit down with us and do 20 takes on something that should only take 1. Yeah, Liz, I'm looking at you there. But joking aside, we are very lucky to have amazing friends like you, so thank you, mate.
Meow, plane. Meow.
Meow, cyclists.